down in the States, and he went through sort of how they've been working on training down in Nevada, where he comes from. He's been, I think, 5 or 6 times now. I'm not quite sure. But all I know is that every spar he's had, he's gotten knighted, and most of them have won a cornet or a crown. So there must be something going on with what he's learning. And the first thing they said to me, and it was really interesting, he goes to us and he says, "What's the worst thing a fighter can do?" Anybody have an idea on that? I know you do, but you can't cheat. So, worst thing you can do? Win a tournament.
Oh. Hey, some of us just won a tournament in a while.
But think about it this way: Did you go through that tournament and do nothing wrong? No. You went through and you won a tournament, but all that means is you made less mistakes than the rest of the people. Now, the way to get better is to verify mistakes, eliminate that deficiency, progress forward. Find a mistake, progress forward. Yes?
Without making the assumption that even in the fight you make mistakes?
Yeah, of course you do. You're never going to have a perfect fight. It might look pretty darn good, but if you're really critical about how you look at yourself, like you watched Tim, he came second at I think 2 crowns ago. I think it was 2 or 3 crowns ago. He came second. He lost to Eric. I talked to him. We went through his video, and he's like, "I came second, and this is what I did wrong, and this is what I did wrong, and this is what I did wrong." He's brutal on himself. He's hard on himself. But the biggest way to get most of the learning you're going to get from is from your fellow fighters. One of the things we did with them is we got everybody together, and we'll say, like, we'll put you and him together. You two fight, and then all that happens is after they step, you do 3 sets. So it's 1, 2, 3. Finish up. Everybody goes in turns and goes, you got 30 seconds, do a critique or a question. So it doesn't have to be like you're doing this wrong, but you can go, "You see me really tentative, Asamara. Why are you tentative?" Or you keep on throwing the exact same combination over and over and over again. Now, your deficiency is going to fall into like relative, I think it's 4 or 5 different things. Usually it's range, power, shot selection, movement, and I think that was just the 4, yeah. It was just shot selection, range, movement, and power generation. Generally, they're your 4 ones that people have issues with. But the thing is, let's say you're being very tentative. Tentative could be based on shot selection. I'm going here, I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to stand here and stutter. So you work on that. Yeah, I've got it now where I go in and I go, there's my shot, I'm going to throw. But now your power generation rate might be off. Why is your generation off? Maybe it's because your movement. Maybe your foot's up in the air as you're throwing the shot. Maybe it's because you're moving off of the shot. A lot of the mistakes guys when they first learn to do a wrap is when they do a wrap, I'm going to use your body. So, yeah. A lot of times when people throw, when they first learn a wrap, they'll do this. I got to go around the shield, so they'll go. Right? But all that travel time is killing all your direction and all your power. So if you learn to step in and throw, you get the same result with less distance. Now, because you've corrected that, now you got your power generation. Now you just might not like being this close. Now you got to figure out your range again, so you got to readjust your range. Now you readjust your range, now you got to learn how to throw that shot again. So now you got to learn your movement again. So that's what's going to have to happen. So what you need to do, video is a huge thing. Number 2 is your fellow fighters. So what I'd recommend is when you come down, like next time you go to practice, just when you guys start out, warm up a little bit and do this. Get all the guys to critique. And even people that don't fight, like you're just learning, like you can sit there and go, I don't understand why you're doing this. There might be a legitimate reason why. Like my night during the thing down in Sean's, I have this habit where I'm sitting here and I'll go wiggle, 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 wiggle with my sword. It looks tentative. I didn't realize I did it. Totally subconscious.
I thought you were trying to set me up. Every time I fought you, you've done it.
I know.
Yeah, you'll see here, you'll do this.
I know.
I always think it's you're trying to get me to jump on the gun to go to the defensive position.
I'll tip my sword, and that's doing it. When I twist my wrist, it's a habit. I've been doing that since what I used to do is when I first started tournaments 20 years ago, is I did it to calm myself down. I go like this, get my muscles to tighten, and then I relax. And so my arm would relax, and then I can throw shots and not go, you know, like that rock and sock and robots things that you guys do sometimes, right? That's because your muscles are really tight and you're trying to drive that shot in, right? So what I would do is I would tighten, relax. And then my arm would relax, and I would do dip, and I can engage. You'll also notice that when I'll stop doing it, I'll do it here. As soon as I get here, I don't do it anymore. Because I'm in range, which is a bad tactic. But I didn't know it until someone told me. So what you do is you get everybody to critique, and then what you do is after everybody's had a turn getting critiqued, and never take it personally. Like someone might ask a question, it's just a legitimate question, they're not trying to pick on you, right? Like you seem to throw your offside line really wonky. Why do you throw it this way? Or it can be as simple as that. Like for me, it was mostly just range, trying to figure out where I'm ranging up to. When you do that, after you do that, quickly pick somebody, go and work on that deficiency for a little bit. 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Just go in there and go, I'm working on range, you're working on power generation. You guys can discuss it or not, up to you. If you discuss it, you can tell them, like, okay, I'm working on range right now, Samar, so I might not be throwing as many shots. I'm just trying to figure out where I am with you and understanding my range. He might be working on mechanics. So he might be throwing a lot of snaps. He's like, my mechanics of my snap are wonky. People saying it looks weird. You don't. So I'm working on my snaps. So that works fine. I can work on range, trying to understand where he's going to throw that snap. He can throw his snaps, and you work on that. And what you do is you work on that, and then after, when you guys do pickups, continue to work on that and try to incorporate it into what you're doing. At the end of the day, I like to have a book. I write down 3 things I'm working on, 1 thing I think I did good. Always put a positive in your book if you decide to have a book. I like to have a book because I can go back in my book 6 months from now. I can look and go, well, I fought in this day and I was really in a weird time with blah, 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 blah. I can look now and go, well, I corrected that. These 3 things are crap, but that's good, right? So it gives you an idea of progression. Right now, you're going to have really, really big jumps for the newer fighters. It's going to be all of a sudden, you're going to go in and you're going to throw that rack. And it'll be just like, boom, whoa, it works. That's how it goes. Or even better, you do what I did, where I threw my first really solid rap, and I went bang. And one of my buddies who was also a new fighter, he's like, wow, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. And I went home, and I sat there on a pal for hours trying to figure out what I did, and it took me another month to figure out what I did. Right? But you get that big progression, right? The first 3 to 4 to 5 years, you'll get these huge jumps of a night or somebody come in and say, hey, try this, try that. And it'll be like this big epiphanies. And at a certain point, you'll be a plateau. And then the jumps will get smaller, and they'll feel insignificant. Like, I found out, it was like a month ago, that when I was throwing one of my shots, my hips were disengaged a little bit, so it wasn't setting properly. As soon as I engaged those hips, boom, it was setting properly. But it was this, that. It was awesome. It made huge much sense. Do I feel really accomplished from going from my hip here to here? Not really. I feel more confident drinking a beer than adjusting my hip by that much. But it was cool, and I learned. But it will get smaller. So that book will kind of give you an idea to look back and go, yeah, okay, I'm doing this. And you can even write stuff like, I had a really good day of practicing. I had a bad day. You can even record stuff like, I used to, but I eat badly from the graveyard shifter. But you can record your food. I drank this much water before a tournament, and then I fought really well in the tournament. Next tournament, I only drank this much water. I felt like I was sort of drained and dehydrated. Well, maybe I'm drinking a little water. Or I ate this kind of food before the tournament. Or I ate this kind of food before the tournament. Track your edibles and what you're doing. You really want to get involved in what you're doing. Because, we talk about it sort of fun and whatnot, but it's a sport. It's just like any other kind of sport. You go in, you find your deficiencies, you fix those deficiencies, and you adjust to the next deficiency. And there'll always be one. Like I was talking to Sean, he's like, I'm still adjusting. There'll be something that comes up, and we'll adjust it. And when something will come up, and we'll adjust it. Like we found out that he was dragging his head when I was at the practice. He'd drag me, he'd come in, and I got him with 3 clean wraps on this clean out, and he was doing this, and he was doing this. That is how he's doing this. So he is little as that. But if Duke Sean has adjustments all the time, we sure as hell do. I know trying new stuff will make a big difference. You might want to learn how to work with ranges, like you like a longer sword, you like a shorter sword. Both have advantages. Shorter swords are really good to thrust with. Longer swords can be good for that outside range thing. So yeah, that would be my biggest suggestion for you guys. Like you guys are looking good at it, and that would be a good suggestion. I can go on some small techniques that can be interesting to know things. One of the things that's really interesting, you might actually talk about it, is circles. You heard that? Yeah, of course it's I'll use ask Mark something. So when I'm in range in games, so when we play range, we've got A, which is really, really safe, because you only have like 3 shots, really, really high energy use though, because you're usually doing this, like this, right? You go into B, B is still relatively comfortable and safe, a little bit less energy used. C is relatively safe, fairly low energy. Generally this is the most dangerous spot, is your transition from C to B. C to B is that transition, that's your danger spot. Because most people, when they move in those ranges, is something will move while they do it. So B, once you're settled, you're generally comfortable. It's not as safe as being in C. So you got your C range, and then D, which is extremely safe, you're completely safe, you can't be touched, and you can get a lot of energy back. So learning how to work off of those, but also realize that we're not doing Olympic fencing, so there is linears involved in this. So with the sword, everything works in circles. And Duke Sean talks about this, Savard talks about this, my knight talks about this, everybody talks about it. There's circle planes like this and circle planes like this. So if I'm here and I can't touch Asimar, I can touch his beard. It's very sensitive. From here, if I move here, see I'm completely linear, right? I can't hit him at all. I go back here, see how I'm close to his beard? If I go here, think I can hit him? Oh yeah, I can hit him. Right? So when you're moving linear, realize that these adjustments do change your range also. I might be in B range here, but both of us have less to work with. I got a fat old shield in the way, and I can't really reach without moving to cut that range. So what ends up happening is I'm technically in B here, and I end up being in C here. Does that make sense to you guys at all? Now, this is the other thing is, I can't hit his leg here either, right? Circles work this way too. So, I can't hit his leg. I squat down. So, I squat down, boom, there's that shot. So, I'm in C, technically for my blade, to being in B. That makes sense, or is that a bit of a mind? Because it was a mind screw for me. I kind of like, oh, right?
You don't think about it when you're first learning at all.
No. So understanding that, like when you guys are sidling, like I watched you, and you were doing this. So you're actually, in a sense, working away from your power.
Yeah.
So you need to, if you realize that if you're working away from your power, that you need to kind of close when you're working away. Just like if you want to move this way, you can afford to move out a little bit and still have that range. So that would be the biggest thing I can say for you guys, for the very, very new guys, is that movement, understanding that doing this will make a difference. Try it on a pal. Like go to the pal bowl and really understand your body mechanics and how moving here, and that you don't need to be in armor. I mean, armor helps because if you have when you guys get your own suits of armor, there'll be certain things that your armor will limit you from doing.
I'll usually put my chest piece on.
Yeah.
At least my chest piece.
Like, I'll just throw my arm and my wrist on. I wouldn't worry about my body myself, but I wear a very minimal. I can.
But you use your shield though.
I can do that. No, I don't do a shield anymore. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I would recommend using a shield if you can. But the biggest reason why is if you go to PAL, like right now, without my heavy gauntlet on, I can throw a shot like this, no problem. I can't do that with a demi on. My demi only lets me do it here, which is why you should have some kind of kit on yourself if you don't want it. But what I was talking about with the PAL is one of the basic drills you can do is you throw your snap, you disengage back, and throw throw your snap. So I break my points down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right head, right body, right leg, left leg. So I go, my drill, I just do this once a day, and you just take your time. You're not doing it hard, you're not doing it fast. You're working on your mechanics. So it's 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 5, and 6. Now, I'm doing really big loopy stuff. The reason why is because I'm trying to engage my hip. I'm not using my hip, I'm getting really bad. So when people see my video, when my knight sees this video, he can write those for me. But why I'm doing the big is because I'm still getting a bit of hip engagement. You're never going to go to somebody and go, okay, right? It's just not going to happen. But if you practice the big movements, when you go to go fight in a tournament or a fight or a practice or whatever, your body naturally straightens up. If I'm disengaged out here, I'm all relaxed, I'm like this, and my arms are like this. You watch me do is I'm fighting. As soon as I get to where I receive that I'm engaged, which is usually C, I go from here to there. I'm tighter, everything's smaller. And that's a natural reaction. As soon as you have a threat engaged on you, your body tends to tighten up. And this should really make you good at relaxing your body. I'm not. I tend to tighten up and have to make you try to force yourself to relax. You're going to tighten up. So if you practice everything big and learn how to engage your hips, engage your legs, and stuff like that, when you get to the point where you're going to fight, you might not be as tight because you've already memorized the body to go like this. So next time you're not going to do this, but you might go like that rather than like this, which is so much shoulder and elbow and not so much body. Yeah, that would be a huge thing for you guys. One of the other drills you can do if you guys are learning how to use a shield, and I think I talked to you about it at Japan War, was the one shot loss. We'll quickly go through that, and then you guys mess around and have to kind of work on stuff if you want. Go through that, and then the way the drill works is you guys can start. One person throws a shot, and then the other person will move, block it, and you're only taking 3 seconds, and it's slow, you're not even using out of armor. So if you can hear, so I go, 2, 1 was down, 2 was down, 3 was down. 1 was down, 2 was down, 3 was down. 1 was down, 2 was down, 3 was down. 1 was down, 2 was down, 3 was down. And you do that. It's very slow pace. The reason why I like the drill is when you're doing slow work, if you notice, sometimes people will start slow, and you get faster, harder. And sometimes, for some people, for me, I have a really hard time not competing when I do slow. It sucks losing. That's the hardest part of slow work. Yes. So for me, just because it takes this stuff out, I can break that slow work down into like 3-second chunks. Like, oh, it works. What it does is it lets you work on shot allocation and shield position. So if I do something weird like this, that would be dumb, right? But I might not realize what I'm doing. So this lets you do your shot allocation in 3 seconds. You can think about it. But in a fight, you have less than that time. So if you can break it down and visually see these holes at this point, it'll get easier when you play. So I hope this stuff helps you guys out, and I'll be happy to bug me if you find out. I'm on Facebook. If you have any questions, bug me. I've been playing I've been doing it for 20 years. Love it. I'm not quitting anytime in the near future. So I'm always learning too. So I mean, I'm happy to teach you guys anything I learn, and hopefully you guys can work on it. The other big thing is just video. Look at the video. I mean, you might not realize you're doing something, or you might do something great you don't realize you're doing. So watching the video and just recording yourself and looking at what you're doing will help you kind of critique what you're doing sometimes. It's hard to hide flaws in videos. So I use video a lot. I don't post a lot of my video on YouTube or that because I'm not fighting properly on practicing. I'm working on practicing, so it makes time. And I don't like to